Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For the second half of this practice, grab some 2 blocks, a strap, a blanket and a pillow, and any additional props. We're actually going to be diving a little longer into Yoga Nidra before Shavasana today. So here's a little bit more about Yoga Nidra, often called yogic sleep, a form of meditating. Yoga International writes that a samskara, which is repeated patterns that are embedded even in our unconscious mind or in our body's patterns. A samskara can be used as an intention within the Yoga Nidra practice. You might come into the practice knowing what you would like to work on. We'll set our intentions in a moment. The intention, often prompted by the teacher, is then set at the beginning of the practice. When a samskara then arises during the practice, any thought patterns or old conditioning, things that are often buried in the subconscious or unconscious mind, and even in the body, because the body remembers everything, right? But sometimes we may have set it aside to not think about. So when a samskara then arises during the practice, you may touch upon the feelings that arise, like the sensations or any emotions, and then allow yourself to experience these feelings more and more. So Yoga Nidra is often talked about as a sort of a safe, courageous space to be very gentle in going into the subconscious mind, as you would do in meditation. This is a form of meditation, by really relaxing the body and the nervous system to create a feeling of calm, so that whatever starts to arise from the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, we can start to, by choice, if you're ready, start to touch upon them little by little to the depth that you're ready to. So, and then allow yourself to experience these feelings more and more. By working with this method and feeling secure throughout the journey, with each subsequent practice of Yoga Nidra, you move deeper into a samskara, into an ingrained pattern, so that you can consciously address it as you choose, and are better able to understand your reaction. It's like these triggers and knee-jerk reactions, all of those have to do with samskaras, patterns that are embedded. And then ultimately, you can allow the samskara to release into the ocean of consciousness. At that point, it is no longer a deep impression. You are liberated from that samskara. So again, it boils down to awareness and conscious choice. Now that you know, Yoga Nidra is an accessible meditation practice that focuses on cultivating multiple levels of well-being. Practice with consistency and awareness, you may likely discover that you can find a good amount of peace in a short period of time. If you live in a big, busy city, I consider LA one of those, you might be so bombarded with stimuli and things to do that our samskara, our repeated pattern, is to go, go, go. And sometimes it can be challenging to be still and to relax, even though it sounds maybe kind of funny. So Yoga Nidra is that tool to learn how to be still, to relax genuinely. So let's warm up the body through some vinyasa flow, get the busyness out so that we can welcome stillness in the yin yoga portion, and then in the Yoga Nidra, and then Shavasana. So sit in a way that you can feel upright in your spine, balanced through the left and right sides of your pelvis, and relaxed. Start to tune into your body. Maybe close the eyes, maybe place a hand at your chest, a hand at your belly, and begin to notice whatever sensations are happening, including discomfort or tension or comfort. So just noticing the aliveness of your body in its state of being right now. Bring your attention to how your body is naturally breathing, feeling the sensations of the breath. Notice the pace, the depth, and anything you can sense about the breath. And through this, observe your energetic state of being. Now bring your attention to your mind and notice its activity. sensing as busyness or calmness, the energy of the thoughts. So through this, notice your mental and emotional state. Now, acknowledging what's on your plate right now, before you set your intention, I invite you to offer gratitude to anything that you appreciate at this moment. This is a way to connect with abundance so that we're coming from an empowered state when we set our intention, rather than from lack. So now start to clarify one thing you want to focus your mind, your body, your energy on expanding into your experience. Maybe it's a quality of being, a feeling tone, or something more specific, setting your intention for this practice. And then a way that we open up to all possibilities of that, how that intention will manifest, is to offer up our efforts. So I invite you now to choose someone, a community, or a cause that you care about to dedicate this practice to today, making an offering of it. And then breathe in, slowly fill up your lungs, your belly. Let any sound release through the mouth as you empty the breath. One more time, helping to release any stagnant air before we chant 3 ohms. And inhaling to chant. Let's slow the breath down as you continue to close the lips, so just breathing through the nose. And again, if it helps to feel the breath more easily, hand to the chest, hand to the belly. So I'll count to 4 as you breathe in through the nose, slowly and gently. And I'll count to 4 as you exhale through the nose. See if you can create a very soft ocean wave sound. So we're beginning the practice called Ujjayi Pranayama to regulate your nervous system to a state of balance. So empty this breath to prepare. Then inhale slowly for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretching it longer. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now continue to balance the breath on your own, inviting a very soft ocean wave sound as the breath glides past the back of your throat, which you create by gently narrowing the back of your throat. See if you can keep this audible, smooth, steady rhythm going through much of this physical practice, especially the vinyasa flow. We're going to use it to pace our movements. So let's start with hands and knees on the floor. And as you inhale, glide your chest forward, roll your shoulders down, lift your gaze, entering cow pose. As you exhale, contract your abdomen, dropping your head slowly and rounding your back into cat pose. Again, inhale, draw your heart forward, roll the shoulders behind you and down, look up. Exhale, contract your belly, tuck your tailbone below, dropping the head to round, and then keep going another 3 to 5 cycles of breath. So warming up the spine and Betalasana cat-cow pose. While we're going to focus quite a bit on hip opening, we also had a request for helping to release tension in the lower back. We'll especially get into that in the yin portion of the practice. So at the end of your next exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips high and back, entering downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths pedaling your feet slowly in place to help warm up your hamstrings and calves. You might also, along with that, swivel your hips left and right like you're dancing the twist, helping to loosen up the sides of the torso and even the lower back. Tune into the sound of your breathing, moving as slowly as that pace, so that if you ever hear your breath become disturbed or erratic, you give yourself permission to slow down on your own or to take moments of rest, whether that be child's pose or a different position that's restful for you. Start to walk up to the front of your mat, entering a standing forward fold where your feet are separated at least hips distance apart and parallel to each other. If you have blocks or some kind of prop like that, you might place them in front of your feet. If the ground feels too low to press into with your hands, you can press the blocks. So press down with your hands, and as you breathe in, stretch your spine forward parallel to the ground, creating sort of a flat back, engaging your abdomen. As you breathe out, slowly drop your head and bow from your hips, folding towards your legs. Let's continue one more time. Press with your hands firmly, and inhale, stretch your spine forward into half forward fold or Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow from the hips, dropping your head into forward fold, Uttanasana. This time, press down with your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising to stand with the arms overhead in a sun salutation. Roll the shoulders down and look up with a gentle back bend. Exhale, join your palms to meet at your heart center. Pause a moment to re-envision your intention for this practice. Cultivate the feeling tone so we can carry that energy with us as we flow to the breath. Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and roll your shoulders down in Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, bow from your hips, maybe bending the knees if that helps to lengthen the spine as you fold. Plant your fingertips on the outsides of your feet and inhale, step the left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge, look up. Holding your breath, step into plank pose with legs straight or knees on the ground. As you exhale, lower your knees, then lower your chest, sticking the tailbone up, lower your chin, Ashtangasana. As you inhale, slither your belly to the ground and roll your shoulders back to Cobra pose. As you exhale, lift your pelvis high and back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, step your left foot beside your left thumb and lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Press through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand, coiling your chest up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your palms at your heart center. Let's take the sequence one more time on the second side. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, bow forward. Plant your fingertips. Inhale, step your right knee back, look up. Holding your breath as you step to plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, then chest, then chin. Inhale, slide to the ground, root the tops of your feet in Cobra pose. Exhale, lift your pelvis high in downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising to stand in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart center in Padasana. Moving on to our second series of Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead again and create a gentle back bend. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Press into your shins, blocks or the floor, and inhale, lengthen your spine forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Step back into top of a push-up, plank pose. And as you exhale, glide forward this time and bend your elbows back so they frame your side ribs as you lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down for Cobra or flip the toes halfway down, inhaling to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog, and this time let your body be still as you listen to 3 deep breaths. By steadying your gaze, your drishti on one spot, help to cultivate mental focus. When you hear the end of your third exhalation, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rise to stand in Urdhva Hastasana with a back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer in Padasana. Same sequence, one more time. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank. If you jump, lightly float to Chaturanga. Take it through your vinyasa, cobra, or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. From here, step your feet together in downward dog. Press evenly through both hands. And inhale, raise your right leg back. As you exhale, bend your right knee and rotate the thigh externally, which means turn it out at the hip. Inhale, tack your left outer hip further back. As you exhale, slowly hug the right knee outside your right shoulder, entering plank, before stepping the right foot beside your right thumb with feet hips width apart in a high lunge. Then inhale to rise up, crescent pose. You might bend your back knee as we stay here a few breaths to help drop your tailbone and slightly lift your frontal hip bones so that the bowl shape of your pelvis is sitting upright rather than spilling forward, promoting more length in your lower spine. As you bend your front knee right on top of the heel, scissor your right outer hip slightly back and rotate your left outer hip forward until both frontal hip bones are equally facing your front wall. And with your arms straight up, relax the shoulders down. Hands together or apart for 3 more deep breaths. If your left hip flexor is willing, straighten the left leg. Spin your left heel to the ground and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, as you would set up for Warrior Two, but we're actually entering extended side angle pose. So bend the right knee just over the ankle and rotate your right outer hip underneath you to splay your right knee open towards your right pinky toe. In contrast, add pressing the top of your left thigh bone back so that your pelvis isn't twisting all the way in one direction. Glide your right hip towards your rear wall as you reach the right hand towards your front wall. Placing the right forearm on your right thigh, raise your left arm up and rotate the tricep to face the left wall, sweeping the left arm overhead. Now, if you can keep lengthening the right side of your torso and place the right hand lower, place your right hand either on a block of the floor to the right side of your right leg, where your right arm is firming against your outer right thigh, which is firming against your arm. Now, spinning your chest slightly to face the sky, direct your gaze onto one spot. Draw your shoulders away from your neck and continue to lengthen your torso forward towards your front wall. Utthita Parshvakonasana, extended side angle pose. Last couple of breaths. Entering half moon pose. To help you transition, you might place your left hand on your left hip. Look at the floor ahead of your right foot. Take the block with you if you're using it and walk the right hand about 6 inches forward of your right pinky toe out to the right corner. Keep your right foot facing forward and still as you drag the left foot forward and flex your left foot off the ground. Imagine that your left sole is pushing firmly against your back wall. Then press your right hip crease back towards that left foot as you lengthen your torso forward towards your front wall. Rotating your chest to face your left wall, you might raise the left arm up. Ardha Chandrasana. Now, if you have other variations you want to play with, like Ardha Chandra Chapasana, which is like a standing sideways bow, you could bend the left knee towards your belly, catch the top of the foot with your left hand, kick the foot back as you pull it towards you to roll your left shoulder open. Aha, we did have a request to open the chest, so here's one way to do it, as well as your left quadricep and hip flexors. Whatever variation you're choosing, tune into your breath. Steady your gaze. If your left knee is bent, slowly straighten your left leg. Very gently step back the left foot. Keep the right knee bent. And with one inhale, side bend towards your rear wall in peaceful warrior, raising the right arm overhead. As you exhale, lower your hands to plank and take it either through vinyasa, cat-cow, or step directly to downward facing dog. When you arrive at downward facing dog, step your feet together to touch. To your breath, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend that knee and rotate the thigh, open at the hip. Inhale, tack your right hip back. Exhale, slowly hug your left knee outside your left shoulder in plank before stepping your left foot beside your left thumb with your feet hips width apart in a lunge. Inhale to rise up, crescent pose. Now again, you might bend your back knee as you're orienting your pelvic bowl as upright and neutral as possible. Scissoring your left hip back as you bend the left knee just over the ankle, rotate your right outer hip forward, and slightly lift your frontal hip bones. Then if your right hip flexor is willing, you might straighten your right leg. But keep lifting your spine, relax your shoulders, arms straight, palms together or apart. Let's listen to 3 more breaths as you steady your eyes. Spin your right heel down and align your left heel to the arch of your right foot as you would for Warrior 2. Bend the left knee just over the ankle. Rotate your left outer hip under, splaying the knee towards your pinky toe, and firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Then glide your pelvis sideways towards your rear wall as you reach the left hand far forward, placing the forearm on your left thigh. Raising your right arm for extended side angle, rotate your right tricep to face your right wall, then sweep your right arm overhead. Now decide if you're going to keep your left forearm here or place the left hand on a block of the floor, just to the left side of your left leg, directly under your shoulder, just as long as you can continue to lengthen the left side of your torso and you don't feel any compression in the lower back. So keep rolling the left hip under. Keep tacking the crease of your left hip towards your right outer foot, while in contrast, lengthening your torso forward towards your front wall, spinning your chest slightly to face the sky. Let's listen to a few more breaths in Utthita Parshvakonasana. Preparing for half moon pose, you might place your right hand on your right hip to help you transition. Gaze just ahead of your left foot. Walk your left hand 6 inches forward and out to the left corner of your left pinky toe. Drag your right foot forward, keep the left foot still, and flex the right foot off the floor. Turn your chest to face your right wall, stacking both shoulders naturally above your left wrist. Maybe raise your right arm. Then decide where to point your eyes to steady your drishti and your breath. Ardha Chandrasana. Now, if you bent the top knee, you might bend this right knee towards your belly, if you did so on the first side. Taking the foot back as you pull it towards you to roll the right shoulder open, stretch into the right quadricep and hip flexors in Ardha Chandra Shavasana. Sense the quality of your breath. If your right knee is bent, slowly straighten your right leg. And slowly as you can, step the right foot down with the left knee bent. side bend towards your rear wall in Peaceful Warrior. Inhaling, raise the left arm overhead. Exhale your hands to the earth and take your choice of a vinyasa, cat-cow, or step back to downward dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, glide forward to plank pose, top of a push-up. Stack your shoulders right over your wrists. Lift the sides of your belly and lengthen your neck by gazing on the floor ahead of you. Firm your inner heels back, activating your quadriceps. Then slowly for a few breaths, glide forward and lower through Chaturanga Dandasana, all the way down. Maybe pause in Chaturanga. And once you lower, rest your forehead on the floor, and let's prepare for 2 active back bends before we enter our yin portion. So slide your knees close together, spread your toes and root your toenails, all of them firmly into the ground as you actively stretch the legs long behind you. Clasp your hands behind your lower back for bound locust pose. As you breathe in, keep pressing your feet into the floor and coil your chest up. Reach the knuckles of your hands towards your heels as you reach your chest forward. Lengthen the back of your neck by looking slightly down. You're in it for 5 to 10 breaths, your count. If you're free of any lower back issues, go ahead and lift your feet and press your inner heels towards the rear wall. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes. Focus on deep, even breaths. When you're done, drop everything and rest for 3 breaths, observing how you feel. For last back bend, choose to practice the same pose again, bound locust, Shalabhasana, or turn it up a notch for bow, Dhanurasana. Sliding your knees closer together. For bow, bend both knees and either catch your outer feet or your inner ankles. The latter might feel more intense. Press your pubic bone into the ground and kick your feet away from you as you pull your feet towards you, lifting your knees high, but no wider apart than your hips distance to support the lower back. Roll your shoulders back and press them down, broadening your chest forward for 5 to 10 breaths. This is our last part of our vinyasa flow. Try to apply equal kick pressure into both hands to promote balance in your psoas. This is such a helpful posture to stimulate digestion as you're directing blood flow into your belly, stretching your belly and putting weight on it. When you're ready, release everything. Be still for 3 breaths. Then please slide back into child's pose. Bring your blocks with you so that we can take extended supported child's pose. Placing your blocks either on their lowest or medium height, so they're like the number 11. And then placing your forearms onto the blocks to rest on so that your wrist can relax. The hands just flop. And then whether you lower your forehead to the ground or on a third prop of your choice, try to relax the shoulders back, away from your neck, and let your pelvis sink deeper and deeper towards your heels, towards the rear of your mat. Now imagine what it would feel like if you had lungs in your lower back. Breathe into your lower back lungs and invite them to expand.
In the end,
as you breathe out, soften the area of your lower back. Let the bones be heavy there.
are only bones.
And try that for another 5 slow breaths.
All that matters is how much we gave, how much much we loved.
And when you're ready, slowly lift your torso. Come up to your hands and knees again, tabletop. And we're going to take a counter posture from those chest opening back bends and thread the needle with a spinal twist. So as you stand on your hands and knees, with your shoulders right over your wrist, step your knees a couple inches behind your hips so the torso has a little more space to move around. Choose to either keep both knees down as we will slide the right arm under the left elbow, or for an inner thigh stretch, as you do this, step your right foot out to the right so the sole of your right foot is flat on the floor and the inner arch of the foot is in line with your left kneecap. If you find that keeping this right leg extended out while you're twisting makes it too cumbersome, you could always replace the right knee down. So let's start by inhaling as you raise your right arm up. Exhale, thread the right arm under your left bent elbow. Lower the right side of your head all the way down. If your head does not comfortably meet the ground, use as many props as you need as a pillow. Remember, in yin and restorative poses, you want to allow your body to completely relax. You're not trying to hold it up. You're using props to hold your body up so that you can soften. Flare your left elbow up and draw the shoulders away from your neck. Now invite the breath into the backs of your lungs, stretching the back wall of your cage. You're going to be here for about 10 deep breaths. When you finish your 10th exhalation, slowly lift your body back to hands and knees. And set up, if you can, the same way as you did on the first side. So if you step the right foot out, step the left foot out, and you can always revert to knees both on the ground. Inhale, raise your left arm up. Exhale, thread the left arm under your right bent elbow. Remember to use a prop to support the left side of your head if your head does not comfortably rest on the ground. Draw your shoulders away from your neck and invite your breath to expand the backs of your lungs. 10 deep breaths. Breathe into your kidneys at the area of your lowest back ribs. When you finish at your own pace, 10 breaths, then slowly lift your body up again to hands and knees. Let's bring the legs out in front of you to sit. And you may want to grab your strap for Ardha Gomukhasana, half cow face pose. So here's our lower back and hip opener, or lower back stretch and hip opener. So turn out your right thigh and cross it as much as you can over your left thigh, and try to sit up tall. If that's a challenge to do, take a pillow or a folded blanket to sit on, so that by elevating your pelvis, you can more easily drop the knees and lift the spine. Now keep the bottom leg straight and flex the foot. You may like to use a strap around the ball of that left foot. If so, hold the strap with both hands with enough slack so that you're able to roll your shoulders behind your ears and down, keeping your throat open and your neck long. Hug in the bottom of your front ribs, root down to your 2 sitting bones, and as you inhale, lift up from the bottom of your spine all the way up to your crown. As you exhale, maintain the feeling of a flat back with a little lift in the chest, and start to bow just a little bit of your range from your hips. Pause as you inhale, press the pelvis down and stretch the spine here. And then exhale, maybe bow another little bit. Continue to explore for another 8 breaths. Flexing your left foot, press the big toe mound forward and engage your left quadricep to support your left hamstring here. If you can reach hold of your left foot, you can hold that instead of the strap. Pressing down to your pelvis. Inhale, slowly rise up. Stretch both legs out. Relax your feet, maybe circle them at the ankles. Let's switch. Turn out your left thigh and cross it as much as you can over the right thigh. Maybe place a strap around the ball of your right foot. Flex your right foot either way. Press the instep forward and root your sitting bones as you breathe in to sit taller. Exhale from your hips, hinge just a little bit at a time. Breathe in, root down and lengthen. Breathe out, explore your range of your forward fold. Making sure your shoulders stay relaxed, your jaw and face are relaxed, your throat is open, and your chest is slightly lifted. About 7 more breaths. As you press down to your hips, breathe in to slowly lift your spine. Stretch your legs out, maybe give them a shake or roll out the feet. Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of your feet together, bending the knees apart. Now, a few options to choose from. You can bring the heels as close as possible towards your groins, or keeping the feet together, slide the heels as far away as possible from your groins. Notice the different sensations that are happening in each pose. So choose the one that you're looking for, the kind of sensations and stretch, and then take your pillow or blocks and stack them as high as you need to be able to rest your forehead on top where you're not rounding the back. Maybe just a little bit of rounding so you're relaxed, you're not trying to be rigid, but you want to keep your throat open and your shoulders relaxed away from your neck. So as you root the pelvis down, lengthen from the bottom of your spine through the back of your skull, breathe in. Hug your bottom front ribs in, and as you exhale, tilt forward just a little bit each breath. Take your time folding in, keeping your neck open throughout, and adjusting the height of your props so that eventually you are resting your forehead on something and your arms can relax. And this time, I'm going to watch the clock for 2 full minutes. This is both a hip opening and a lower back opening posture. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. And though we're opening the lower part of the body, observe the upper part of your body too. It's all connected. The jaw and the pelvis, very connected. Notice the energy at your mouth and tongue. And really become curious about the sensations you're experiencing right now and how they might be shifting. So through these yin and restorative postures, we not only cultivate stillness, but we sharpen our focusing and observation skills, which are part of meditation. Paying attention to subtlety. Now observe a couple more slow breaths. Before you plant your hands down and slowly lift your head, then your chest, all the way up. Please take your 2 blocks and set them aside, or maybe it's a pillow near the back end of your mat. And let's come to lie down on our backs. If you're lying on your back, wrap your right leg as much as you can over your left leg, like eagle pose. Lift your feet off the ground and drop your knees all the way to the left so that you're lying on your side. Now, once you're lying on your side, stacking your right knee your right hip above your left hip, splay your right arm wide behind you towards your right wall. Look towards it and encourage your right shoulder to drop closer and closer to the ground as you breathe deeply. Supine spinal twist. Now, if you're looking for more release in your lower back, as you stay here, place your left hand on your right outer hip. Breathe in and picture your spine growing from the hips. And breathe out, press away your right outer hip so that it tilts slightly towards the front edge of your mat. Let's continue this for 8 more breaths. When you finish, gently unravel onto your back, uncrossing your legs, and maybe even coming into happy baby, which is quite opposite from that wrap. Stay attuned to your breathing. And And when you're ready, wrap your left leg as much as you can over your right leg. Lift your feet and drop your knees to the right. Rolling over to your right side, stack your left hip above your right hip. Then splay your left arm behind you towards your left wall and look towards it, encouraging your left shoulder to drop closer and closer to the ground as you breathe deeply. And if you did so on the first side, tractioning the lower back, place your right hand on your left outer hip. Breathe in and stretch the spine long. Breathe out and press away your left outer hip towards the front edge of your mat. Let's continue for 8 more deep breaths. When you're ready, unravel onto your back again, and this time as you uncross the legs, take hold of your bent knees and gently circle your thighs apart and together. Rotating your thigh bones at your hip sockets in different directions. Feel free to change it up. Moving slowly, your mindful breath. Then step your 2 feet on the ground and take your block by the lowest height. Lift your pelvis and slide the block across your sacrum under the flat part of your lower back. Make sure that it feels even on the left and right sides, and you feel like you can support your weight on the block to be able to raise your legs straight up. Your legs don't have to be entirely straight, just comfortably straight. And then you can decide if you want to go higher in the hips. You can stack a second block on top of the first. Again, just making sure it feels stable. So here's a way to stimulate your circulation and digestion. And it is a restorative posture that invites your nervous system to more deeply relax. Let's take some belly breaths. We'll inhale for a count of 4 through the nose into your stomach, letting it expand gently. And we'll exhale through the lips, slower for 6 counts. So inhale 4, exhale 6. Let's prepare by emptying this breath. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count a couple more cycles on your own. In 4, out 6. When you're ready, let go of regulating your breath and just breathe naturally, still paying attention to your breathing. Softly step the foot one foot at a time onto the floor. Remove your props from underneath your lower back. And as you gently lower your pelvis, draw your bent knees together into your chest. Maybe rocking side to side or forward and back. Maybe taking happy baby or straddling the legs wide, clasping the big toes or resting your arms on your inner thighs. In either of the last two postures, ground your tailbone and the backs of your shoulders. Take a look around you and notice what props you might use to set your body up into the most relaxing position where you can feel like you have nothing to do. You can, if you have any lower back tension, you can use either a rolled up blanket or a pillow underneath the backs of your knees. Splay your feet apart, wider than your hips distance, and take a moment to maybe even roll out the legs inward and outward and loosen up the area at your pelvis, your hip sockets. A weighted blanket or pillow on top of your pelvis and belly can feel grounding and soothing and help you to relax. Something to cover your eyes that's lightweight can also be helpful. If you want more of a lift in the chest, you can set up a high block under your head, a medium height block, as we often do, right underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. And really take the time to observe your body before we rest here a bit longer for Yoga Nidra and Shavasana after. Sense the left side of your body and the right side of your body. Make any last little adjustments so that you can feel some sort of symmetry. You might turn your head gently in different directions and really find what your neutral curvature in your neck feels like. If you haven't already, please close your eyes and allow your eyelids to become heavier, relaxing the muscles even behind your eyeballs. You might have your palms turned face up beside your thighs, allowing your shoulder bones to rest back towards the ground. We begin the practice of 10 minutes of guided Yoga Nidra, and then we'll end with 5 minutes in Shavasana. So allowing your body to breathe naturally. Give yourself permission to fully be present here. And it's okay if you fall asleep, because this is yogic sleep, and you'll still be absorbing the information. As you give yourself permission to fully be here, let go of any thoughts about what you need to do later. Allow your whole being to immerse in this experience freely so that you can fully benefit from it. Rest your attention at the soles of your feet, allowing your soles to soften, your toes to relax. Sense the weight of your ankle bones, the weight of your shin bones, your knees, your thigh bones, allowing the muscles surrounding these bones to soften. Bring your mind's eye to your pelvis, Feeling the weight of your left hip and your right hip. Relax your pelvic floor. Soften your glutes. Soften your belly. Trace your awareness up your spine, slowly from the bottom up. Feeling your rib cage and any perhaps subtle movements from the breath. Let your ribs be heavy, just submitting to the weight of gravity. The bones in your shoulders sinking towards Mother Earth. Sense any subtle movement at your chest. Feel your throat. Now trace your awareness from your right shoulder, slowly down your right arm, feeling the weight of your right elbow resting completely. Down your right forearm, soften your right palm down to the fingertips. Slide your attention to your left shoulder and shower your awareness down your left arm slowly. Feel the weight of your arm bones as you relax the muscles around them. Down to your left wrist, soften your left palm. Feel your fingertips. Now lift your inner gaze to your ears and let your ears relax, both inside and outside the ears. Trickle your attention to your tongue as you completely soften it. Lift your mind's eye to your forehead. Feeling a sense of ease and calm there. Allow this calm to embrace your scalp as you feel the weight of your skull resting on the surface below. Body relaxed. Then once again, I invite you to rest a kind attention on the sensations of your breath, allowing it to flow freely and naturally. Let it be easy to be present with your breath. There's nothing else you need to do. In fact, feel the non-doing, how your body is being breathed into and how the breath is releasing on its own. Effortlessness. Continue to feel the breath that you are receiving. Sense the breath freely releasing. Let it be that simple. Breath coming in, breath releasing. your body rest a little longer with your eyes still closed. Slowly expand your attention from your breathing to your physical body and notice any sensations happening now. Gather your physical state as a whole. And being very gentle with yourself, like you're waking up someone you love. Start with small, subtle movements, easing your body out of stillness. Graduate into a gentle stretch. And eventually turn over onto your right side, resting your head. And as you rest here for a moment, notice your breathing again, keeping it natural. Sense the way you feel energetically. Has anything shifted since the start of this practice? As you press your hands into the earth, slowly lift your torso, finding a way to sit comfortably as we close this practice together. Sitting here, notice your mental and emotional state, feeling the effects of your own practice. Now, what's one thing you could offer gratitude for? And from that heart space, whether out loud or in your mind, I invite you to restate your intention for this practice. Then allow a moment to picture to whom or what you dedicated this practice. And maybe see them now receiving benefit from your efforts. To close, I invite you to join our voices together in resonance, chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Bowing in, remember and honor the light within you. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.